Amateur Radio Newsline report number 2541 with a release date of Friday, July 10th, 2026 to follow in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The following is a QST countdown for a law requiring AM radio in all vehicles sold in the U.S. 3 hams received top for their contribution to CW, and there are no obstacles to true love. Not even antennas. All this and more as Amateur Radio Newsline report number 2541 comes your way right now.
From around the world, this is Newsline, Amateur Radio's first independent on-the-air news and bulletin service. Now, reporting from Wadsworth, Ohio, here's Stephen Kenford, N8WB.
Our top story takes us to Washington, D.C., where a proposed federal mandate is moving forward to require AM radio in all new vehicles in the U.S. Kent Peterson, KC0DGY, brings us up to date.
A deadline looms for a long-simmering campaign in Washington, D.C., as lawmakers push to make AM radios a mandatory feature in all new cars in the U.S. The AM Radio for Every Vehicle Act has been around in one form or another for a few years and has support from both parties in Congress. This year, it faces being wrapped into a larger package of transportation-related bills called the Build America 250 Act, which lawmakers are targeting for passage by the 30th of September. The debate centers on AM radio's traditional role as a medium of choice to carry emergency broadcasts in case of natural disasters or severe weather. Auto manufacturers who oppose the measure say that the advent of electric vehicles has created interference with the AM signal, and that makes listening all but futile. They also cite the added cost of continuing to use AM in vehicles. This is Kent Peterson, KC0DGY.
At long last, the World Radio Sport Team Championship weekend, July 11th and 12th, has arrived in England. Jeremy Boot, G4NJH, gives us some final updates.
There has already been plenty of mainstream media coverage for the World Radio Sport Team Championship, which begins at noon UTC on Saturday the 11th of July and continues until noon UTC on Sunday the 12th of July. BBC Radio Shropshire is covering it with plenty of interviews that give this high-profile event good exposure in the non-amateur radio world. Competitors' special call signs, revealed towards the end of the opening ceremony on Thursday the 9th of July, are being published on the event homepage at www.wrtcfigures2026.org. Hams worldwide are being encouraged to work the stations in support of the event. There's also daily coverage on YouTube TV, a separate contest live stream, and an online scoreboard. See the link in the text version of this newscast for more details about viewing the action. This is Jeremy Boot, G4NJH.
In California, Night of Nights is an annual Morse code tradition that remembers a special maritime radio station that is off the air. This year, the event also remembers one of the station's top operators, as we hear from Ralph Squillaci, KK6, ITB.
For just a day, Morse code enthusiasts can forget that the last maritime radio station in the U.S. has gone silent. Every July 12th, on the anniversary of the day that the California station signed off, the Maritime Radio Historical Society, K6KPH, returns the Morse code tradition to air as KPH/KFS springs back to life. This year, the Historical Society is keeping that tradition while grieving a silent key. Denise D.A. Stoops, KI6BBR, had been a vital part of the station's commercial operations and later was a big supporter of the Historical Society's effort behind Night of Nights, as the July 12th commemoration is known. In 1979, Denise became the first woman to be hired as a CW operator at KPH. According to the Historical Society and several social media posts, Denise died within the last few months. The Night of Night tradition continues. For times, frequencies, and QSL information about the event, visit the Maritime Radio Historical Society website at radiomarine.org. This is Ralph Squillace, KK6ITB.
3 devoted CW operators and educators are being recognized for the impact of their work, as we learn from Dave Lee, M9TLB.
3 advocates for the practice of CW have been honored by CW Ops for their contributions. They are Mark Bosma, BK2KI, who created the weekly CW QRS net more than 5 years ago. The net is an informal gathering of operators for a 6-hour period with an emphasis on courtesy and established procedures. Mark also publishes and emails the weekly CQ QRS RagTune newsletter. Fabian Kurz, DJ5CW, is being recognized for a number of projects that assist operators with CW, including Learn CW Online, CW Club RBN Spotter, and the CW Ops Awards tool, which helps operators track the status of their awards. He's also the creator of eBooks to CW, which converts ebooks to CW audio files. CW Ops is also recognizing Martin Kratoska, OK1RR, widely considered a pioneer in Morse code teaching and founder of a website that covers a vast number of subjects on CW. The website was created in Czech only. A link can be found in the text version of this week's newscast at arnewsline.org. Past winners of the CW Ops Award have included the K1 USN Radio Club, creator of the weekly slow speed test that allows newer operators to improve their skills in a friendly environment, Stephen C. Phillips, author of the free online Morse code trainer used by thousands of CW students and teachers, and the Essex CW Club in the UK for its intensive teaching and CW boot camps. This is Dave Lee, M9TLB.
A network of hams in India has helped a hearing and speech-impaired teenager find his way back to his family. Jim Meechan, ZL2BHF, tells us how it happened.
The wide-reaching amateur radio connections of one radio club in West Bengal has helped the speech and hearing-impaired teenager find his way back to his family in Bihar, more than 500 kilometers or 310 miles away. An attorney who spotted him in distress on the street had stopped to help, according to the Times of India. The attorney told the Times that the teenager had difficulty hearing and speaking, prompting him to alert local authorities on his behalf. He urged police to attempt to identify him and find his family, but attempts yielded only dead ends. Police referred the teen to a voluntary organization that could provide safe shelter. Meanwhile, the lawyer contacted the West Bengal Radio Club, which is well known for using its ham radio network to help track down families of persons who have gone missing. As always, the ham soon had results after conducting its customary outreach, which included distribution of a photograph. Ambrose Bisvar, VU2JFA, the club secretary, told the newspaper that with the help of other hams, the 18-year-old and his family were soon identified as residents of Bihar. The hams learned from his father and older brother that he had gone missing 14 months ago. The details of his disappearance were not clear. As of July 4th, arrangements were being made to return him to Bihar, where he is enrolled in the local public school. This is Jim Meechan, ZL2BHF.
Time for you to identify your station. We are the amateur radio newsline heard on bulletin stations around the world, including the W8WKY repeater in Doylestown, Ohio, on Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. local time, right before the weekly Serenet at 8 p.m. eminent radio amateur and former chair of the British YL Amateur Radio Association, has become a silent key. We hear more about her from Jeremy Boot, G4NJH.
When the International YL Convention came to Milton Keynes in the UK in 2016, in connection with the RSGB convention, Carol Ann Hodges, who won RBH, was at the helm of the British YL Amateur Radio Association. As YLs in the UK prepared for the first time to host this major event, it was a key time for the organisation, as delegates arrived from around the world. Carol and her husband Rob, G0RYL, helped pull the event together. On her page on QRZ.com, Carol had referred to the convention as being 7 days of international friendship among YLs. Carol became a silent key on the 10th of May. She was 76. This is Jeremy Bucci for NJH.
The U.S. Federal Communications Commission has set its sights on yet another spectrum auction. Daniel Garcia, W2DIY, has those details.
The FCC will meet on the 22nd of July to vote on its plans to auction 160 megahertz in the upper C-band. The auction will be held next for frequencies between 3.98 and 4.2 gigahertz. The range does not include any frequencies used by amateur radio. The FCC is mandated under the Working Families Tax Cut Act of 2025 to sell off at least 100 megahertz of C-band spectrum by July of 2027. The agency aims to create a single band for wireless operations on the C-band through the use of the range between 3.70 and 4.14 gigahertz. The FCC recently completed a $3.5 billion spectrum auction, its first in 4 years. Competition bidding ended on the 23rd of June for frequencies that belong to the Advanced Wireless Services, or AWS-3, bands used by major mobile carriers. This is Daniel Garcia, W2DIY.
In the world of DX Holger, DG3FEH will be on the air with the call sign MJ/DG3FEH from Jersey, IOTA number EU013, from the 18th through to the 23rd of July. He will be using SSB on 40, 20, and 15 meters and will be calling QRZ via the QO100 satellite. Giorgio IZ3KVD will be operating holiday style as IS0/IZ3KVD from Bodoni, Sardinia Island, IOTA number EU024, from the 8th through to the 17th of July. Listen for Nabi G0VJG using the call sign VP5G from North Caicos, IOTA number NA002, from the 17th through the 28th of July. Nabi will be operating SSB, CW, and FT8/FT4 on various bands, including 6 meters. Listen for him as well during the RSGB IOTA contest on the 25th and 26th of July. Takashi JR6HYO will be using the call sign JR6HYO/JD1 from the Ogasawara Islands, IOTA number AS031, on the 9th through the 11th of July. He will be using CW and SSB on 40, 20, 15, 10, and 6 meters. For QSL information and other operating details, see each station's page on QRZ.com. We end this week's report with a reminder that if you want to transmit your message well, it's all about the antenna. In the case of one couple with a message in New York City, it was unfortunately all about several antennas. Jim Davis, W2JKD, tells us their story.
The couple who climbed New York City's Empire State Building on July 2nd weren't just about to engage in a publicity stunt. They were also about to get engaged while they were up there. 1,454 feet, or 443 meters above Manhattan. This path of true love, however, had its obstacles. A number of media accounts were quick to note that the climbers were not authorized to go past the 102nd floor, which is the building's highest public access spot. They managed, however, to get beyond there and also into the restricted area, which involved passing a number of antennas. There was the master antenna used by 15 New York FM stations, as well as a separate smaller antenna used by 3 other New York FM radio stations. Wearing no harnesses, no parachutes, They also had to pass a number of antennas used by TV stations in New York City. Now, you don't need an RF calculator to know that there was a lot of energy up there that day. Not just nervous energy, but RF energy. The broadcasters quickly shifted to backup antennas. The couple, known for their daredevil stunts and profiled in a Netflix documentary called Skywalker's A Love Story, said in court after their arrest that they made their climb because they believed in power. In this case, the power of love. No doubt it was radiating also from both of them as the stunt turned into a successful marriage proposal. But before they can say I do, there's the question of saying we did. The two face felony charges that include reckless endangerment and burglary. I'm Jim Davis, W2JKD.
With thanks to Amateur Radio Daily, CW Ops, David Behar, K7DB, The Drive, FCC.gov, 425 DX News, Maritime Radio Historical Society, NZ Net News, QRZ.com, Radio World, shortwaveradio.de, Times of India, Wireless Institute of Australia, WNBC Channel 4, World Radio Sport Team Championship, YL Beam, and you, our listeners. That's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline. We remind our listeners that Amateur Radio Newsline is an all-volunteer, non-profit organization that incurs expenses for its continued operation. If you wish to support us, please visit our website at arnewsline.org and know that we appreciate you all. We also remind our listeners that if you like our newscast, please leave us a 5-star rating wherever you subscribe to us. For now, with Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York and our news team worldwide, I'm Stephen Kinford, N8WB in Wadsworth, Ohio, saying 73. As always, we thank you for listening. Amateur Radio Newsline is copyright 2026. Amateur Radio Newsline retains ownership of its material even when retransmitted elsewhere. All rights are reserved.
Northeast Ohio and all our outlanders. CQ. This is the Silvercreek Amateur Radio Association ClubNet. We're on the W8WKY repeater, 147 Mark 39 megahertz with a PL tone of 114 Mark 8. You can also get us on Allstar at 48496. And of course, Echolink at W8WKY-R. This is a control net open to any and all licensed amateurs. All traffic should go through net control, but emergency traffic is welcome to break in at any time. Your net control operator for this evening is Phil. My call sign is K8PMI. That's Kilo 8 Papa Mike India. All right, we're going to have our trivia coming up here, and we also got a meeting coming up Thursday, which is going to be nice, and anybody that wants to swing by early at the Casa Nuestros, or however you say that place, we always get there probably around 4:30, 5 o'clock or whatever, get a good burrito, and then head on over to the meeting. All right, with that, we're going to get things started. I want to get all my in and outs out of the way. If you don't want to answer trivia and just want to check in and out, give me a call. If you're short time or mobile, you can give me a call as well. This is the W8WKY ClubNet. This is K8PMI, and I'm listening.
Hey, Sir Patrol, sir. Martin Wadsworth, in and out.
Whiskey Alpha 8, Kilo Oscar Charlie, WA8KOC, Fred, Akron, in Sandusky, Echolink, in and out. Have a great night, Phil.
Kilo 8 Mike Romeo Echo K8MRE, in and out.
Kilo Charlie 8 Yankee Kilo Papa Brian and Shelby coming through RF. I hope I'm making it okay. I'll just be in and out.
All right, I'll pick it up there. We had Mark check in and out, KE8SFS. Thanks a lot, Mark. We'll catch you in the morning. WA8KOC. Fred, hopefully you're having a great time out there on your vacation. Rod's been doing a great job in your absence there on the barometer net. We also had K8MKE and KC8YKP. Thank you very much for your in and outs. Now we'll start the trivia portion of the net, and let me get around to check-ins. We'll do a few rounds, so if you don't want to call on the first one, that's fine, but give me a buzz. I'm listening. This is K8PMI on the WAWKY ClubNet. I'm listening.
Kilo Alpha 8, Lima Yankee Juliet, KA8, LYJ, Bob, in the Magic City.
WKY, this is Kilo Delta 8, Sierra Lima Golf, KD8SLG, Nick, down the farm.
WAWKY, this is K4OG, Mark and Copley.
All right, I'll pick it up there. Joe in Akron, I think that's who that was. I didn't get any of your call. Can you come back with your call, please?
Yeah, Phil, it's Kilo Echo 8 Victor Quebec X-Ray, KE8VQX.
Okay, very good. And then I got Bob in there, I got Nick, Mark, and I got you, Joe. Thank you very much. And we're going to start off at the top with Bob, and let me get a trivia question here for you. Let's see. I got a few of them here that I got here. And, okay. Which was the first shuttle to orbit into space? KA8LYJ, you're up first on the ClubNet.
WAWKY, this is KA8LYJ. That shuttle was the Columbia, Robert Crippen in command. As far as stuff going on, won't be able to make the meeting Thursday. Longtime coworker, not an elderly woman at all, rather young, daughter's age. Husband just died, and she's been a coworker for like 17 years. So I'm obligated to go to the calling hours on Thursday. But on the good news point, Lily is about 600 miles away right now, heading back. Her and her mom are moving back from Nevada. They went out there to help their mom's cousin, or Katie's mom's cousin, and now they're coming back. So we're going to have Lily again. This is KA8LYJ.
All right, Bob. Well, thanks for checking in. You nailed the question. Yeah, my trivia is usually a little bit easier, but I actually forgot that, and you knew who the pilot was. That's awesome. Great job. Sorry about your coworker there and her husband, and our prayers are with them. All right, let's head on over to Nick, KD8SLG. I got to get you a good trivia question here. What is the communication cap worn by an astronaut called? Over to you, KD8SLG.
WKY, this is KD8SLG. Good evening, Phil, on all the Sarah Club netizens. Hope there's more of you out there than we talk to here. Phil, slow down a little bit, man. We usually have like 10 or 12 easy in and out check-ins. Call for them a couple of times. I would do that again. Get some people in here. Headset. I'd call it a headset. That's what I call mine, even though I'm not astronauting. But I'm going to go with headset tonight, man. And, yeah, we've got a club meeting Thursday night. Always fun club meetings are. So bring a friend. Come on out. And as Phil said, we usually, it's a bunch of us. There's usually 10, 12, 15 of us that go to Casa Nuestra beforehand for some Mexican food. Always a good time as well. And all are welcome. Just putting some slides together this afternoon. We'll be ready for Thursday night. We'll see you there, Phil. KD8SLG, back to net control.
All right, thanks a lot, Nick. And you were wrong on that one. I got you stumped. So, good for me. Hi. All right, we'll see you Thursday there, Nick. We'll be clear with KD8SLG. Now let's head on over to K4OG. You got the same question. Hopefully you heard it and I don't have to repeat it. But if you want it repeated, just ask. K4OG, you're up next on the Club Net. This is K8PMI.
That's WAWKY, and that's K4OG. Yeah, I need to reread that one to me again, Phil. Please?
What is the communication cap worn by an astronaut called?
Communication cap? What? A comms bucket. K4OG. Yeah, we're just having fun over here, Phil. We got a BM2355 code error on the Creality K2 Pro printer. So, loads of fun there. I'm just getting up the nerve to go over there and put the Allen wrenches to it. K4OG, back to WAWKY.
All right, Mark, you're much more technical than I am. I had no idea what you were talking about, but that sounds pretty good. You take care of that, and your answer was wrong, so sorry about that. We'll catch you in the morning there, Mark. We'll be clear with K4OG. Now let's head on down to Akron with Joe. Hopefully you heard the question. I'll give the answer after if you don't get it, and we'll go on to another question. So, Joe, KEAVQX, you're up next on the Club Net.
W8WKY, this is KE8VQX. Good evening, Phil and the net. Let's see, I think I'm going to start with the trivia. I don't know. I'm going to call it a skull cap. Just call it skull cap. Just got back into town about an hour ago. Started this morning on the barometer net. Checked in from Anaheim, California, and then we flew to Newark and then right back to Cleveland. Was flying with another ham, and so when we got to Anaheim yesterday, where the hotel is, we Ubered over to the ham radio outlet, which was about 4 miles away, and we both spent money. Anyway, so that was kind of fun. Good flying with another ham. Always got something to talk about. Anyway, yeah, skull cap, I'm going to guess. Thanks for getting me in, Phil. This is K8VQX. Back to net control.
All right, Joe. Thanks for the guests, and yeah, I love hearing you out there on the radio and all the different places you go. Wonder if you ever flew me one time. I don't know, but someday maybe. All right, we'll catch you on down the line. And the answer to that one for the communication cap, which I didn't know the answer to that one either, is called a Snoopy cap. So that's what the astronauts call the cap that they wear that has the communication stuff in it. All right, let's do another round. Oh, I got the Wade checked in, and we'll grab in, then we'll do another in and out call and do another round of check-ins then. So WD8 MIU, Wade, I got to get you a question. Let's see what we got going on here. Your question is, what percentage of the Earth's surface is covered by oceans? Over to you, Wade. This is K8PMI.
All righty. Well, first off, good evening to all my friends up there at the Sarah Club. We got back to Florida, sound and safe. We had 92 degrees today, I think it was, and I heard it was 95 up there. So, as I said before on the Border Breaker Net, that maybe that warm weather Wade comment only applies during the winter. At any rate, golly, I'm going to say, 85%. I don't know if that sounds high, maybe, but that's the answer to my trivia question. And you guys have a good net. We'll be listening, and I'm just getting ready the World Series getting ready to come on. World Series. Try the All-Star game. The All-Star game's getting ready to come on, and so we're going to watch that while we listen here. WD8MIU, Seminole, Florida. Back over to you.
All right, Wade, that was not the correct answer, but you have a great time watching the World Series there. I thought I got hit in the head and lost a few months there. But you enjoy yourself the rest of the evening, and we'll catch you on down the walk. All right, that brings us to the bottom of the list. We only had 4 in and outs, and I know, like Nick said, we usually have like 15. So I'm going to do another round of in and outs. So if you're in and out, why don't you come down and give me a call so we can get the log numbers up here. This is the WAWKY ClubNet. The net control operator is Phil, K8PMI, and I'm looking for more in and outs.
Kilo Bravo 8, Oscar, Tango, Kilo, Mike, and New Middletown, in and out, please.
Whiskey 8, Charlie, Tango, Mike, Carrie at Portage Lakes, and I'll be in and out.
All right, I'll pick it up there. Thanks a lot, Mike, KB8OTK, and Carrie. Thank you very much, W8CTM. Those are our in and outs this round. Now let's do another round of check-ins. We got that big trivia question there. What percentage of the Earth's surface is covered by the ocean? Get it within 5%, and obviously I'll give you the answer. You'll get the question correct. So, the last guess was, 85% or 84%, and that's not within 5%. So, this is WAWKY ClubNet. I'm looking for check-ins. This is K8PMI. I'm listening.
This is WO3X, Whiskey Oscar 3 X-Ray. The name here is John. I'm in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio. Good evening.
Kilo Echo 8, Victor Oscar X-Ray, KE8, VOX, Scott, Shores of Lake Erie.
Kilo
Kilo Foxtrot 8 Delta Tango Papa KF8 DTP Lori.
Please copy Kilo Echo 8 Uniform India Bravo KE8 UIB John Maslin.
Alrighty, I'll pick it up there. Alright, we got WO3X, John, you'll be up first. KE8VOX, Scott. Then the dynamic duo, DTP and UID, will hold up the back end of that round. And I got my special trivia question for John and Lori. As always, I got to make it easy for those two. But let's head on over to John, WO3X. And you still got the same question going on. What percentage of the Earth's surface is covered by the ocean? And let us know how your day went. This is K8PMI.
W8WKY, this is WO3X. Good evening to you, Phil, and all on the net. Well, let's see. Back in the old days, 5th grade science, 1959, they used to say 3/4 of the Earth is covered by water, but maybe that included the Great Lakes. So since it's not including the Great Lakes, just the oceans, I'm going to say 70%. So that's my guess. Let's see. Well, the day went pretty good. We're getting a new air conditioning, central air conditioning unit installed tomorrow. So I trimmed around the location to give the guys some room because of the vegetation. So that went well, and so I'm going to mark the breaker for the blower section of it. Right now I call it furnace, but I don't want to confuse them, so I'm going to change it to HVAC. And the two breakers for the outside unit are already marked AC. So with that, this is WO3X back to the net.
All right, John. Well, you nailed it. It from what I had was 71%. Obviously, I'm sure it changes a little bit, but yeah, great job, and glad you're getting a new AC just in time. Hopefully, it's working tonight, and you're just upgrading and not broken down because it's pretty sticky out there. All right. Well, thank you very much, John. We'll catch you on down the log. Now we'll head up to the north coast up there, Scott. And I got to get you a question here. Let's see. When did Galileo first use the telescope? So that's going to go over to you, Scott. KE8VOX, this is K8PMI. You're up next on the ClubNet.
Good evening, Phil. Good evening, all the listeners. KE8VOX Scott up here on the shores of Lake Erie. And for trivia, I don't have a clue. I'll just guess 1267. First night sitting at the new place, sitting on the porch looking at the lake and talking on the net. Cold iced tea in hand. Living the lake life. Really enjoy it. Not even moved in yet. But otherwise it's a pretty warm day to be moving. But I moved a few things, so eventually I'll get there. But that's all I got. Phil, thanks for doing the net. Thanks for getting me in. Have a great evening. KE8VOX, back to net control.
KE8VOX. Well, that was incorrect and a little bit too early in time for a telescope, but that's okay. Thanks for playing, and we'll catch you on down the log, and hopefully I'll catch you Saturday when I'm doing the barometer net. All right, we're going to be clear with KE8VOX. Next up was KF8DTP, and I got to get you a special question. So your question is, which toy figure travels to infinity and beyond? KE8DTP, you're up next on the Club Net.
WAWKY, to infinity and beyond. That was Buzz Lightyear. So hope everybody's having a great evening. Was a great day. My mom and dad actually came and picked me up from work, and I got to spend the evening with them. So, actually my answer is going to be Buzz Lightyear. So yes, I just had to say that. So, hand it back over to you, Phil. This is KF8DTP 73, y'all.
All right, Lori, you got one. I needed to throw you a softball, and I figured you'd pound that one out of the park. Great job there. We'll be clear with KF8DTP. Now let's head on over to the better half. I got to get him an easy one, too, because he's been stumbling around over there. Okay, John, your question is, what is the third planet from the sun? KE8UIB, you're up next on the Club Net.
WAWKY from KE8UIB. Oh, let me see, the third rock from the sun. I guess that would be the planet of Nichols, right? So I guess we'll just call that Earth, and I'll call that a payday right there. So, and let me see, as I'm going back and forth here and stuff, my mom and dad are listening in Akron. They're saying hello to everybody, and I'm just enjoying the evening here, laughing away, and playing radio. So hey, can't beat that, that's for sure. So, and it's not cold outside, so I will take the heat, and I'm beating the heat, and the heat's not beating me. So that's the way I look at it, you guys. And with that, just want to say thank you for running the net, Phil, and getting us in here. And with that, this is KE8UIB, living that $5 dream, a nickel at a time. 7 3s, y'all.
All right, John, I got your household 2 for 2, and you didn't even have to ask your mom and dad. Oh, boy, I'm on a roll today. Now I know how to handle you two on the trivia night. Hi. All right, we'll be clear with KE8UIB, and we'll catch you in the morning as well. That brings us to the bottom of the list, and I'm looking for check-ins. This is the W8WKY Sarah Club Net. Net Control Operator Phil, K8PMI, and I'm looking for check-ins.
November Tango 8 Delta, NTAD.
Yeah, well, not whatever.
Romeo.
Arkin, Ohio. Well, northern Ohio. North, more. K7QV. Neighbor down the street.
W8WKY.
All right, I got you, Mark. There was another station that was in there with Mark. Can you come back and repeat your call?
November Tango 8 Delta, NTAD.
Kilo Echo 8, Zulu Romeo, KE8 to ZZR here in Wadsworth.
That was it, Harry. I thought it was you, but I wasn't sure. I got the Z, but that was all I got. All right, sounds great. And I got you, Dave. So Dave is going to start it off, NT8D, and I got to come up with a question for you, and that is, how long does it take for sunlight to reach Earth? NT8D, you're up next on the ClubNet.
Thank you there, Phil. I think I was having a little issues with the radio here, but hopefully everything's going well. Terrific Tuesday to everybody. I'm going to answer to your trivia question. I'm going to go with 8.5 minutes, approximately. Hope everybody's having a great start to the week. Beautiful day here in Copley. My compass arrived for Meg, so that's going to get installed this week. Again, if anybody's interested in sailboat rides, I'd like to give sailboat rides. Heading up to Lake Erie this week, hopefully. See a bunch of people at the meeting on Thursday, and thanks for running that tonight there, Phil. Best to everybody, and I'll throw it on back to net control. This is NT8D.
NT8D, very good job. You nailed it. I think they had it down at 8.3 seconds, but that's close enough for me. Or 8.3 minutes, close enough for me. So that's good, and we'll catch you on down the log, Dave, and hopefully you get that compass all installed, working properly. We'll be clear with NT8D. Let's head on out to Aurora, KC8FQV. And your question is going to be, what is the softest material on Earth? KC8FQV, you're up next on the ClubNet.
The softest material, I'm going to say, is the cloud. I'm going to say it's the cloud. KC8FQV.
KC8FQV, it is not a cloud, but you got anything else for the net?
No, not really. Other than I've been checked over there with the Roger County net out there in Roger County, Oklahoma. Pete Cars has got their SIG meeting going. They do special interest things every month, or every Tuesday. And they do it on Zoom, and they have it at the club site. So there's activity there every Tuesday. And yeah, it was 95 degrees out here at one time. And we got to figure out where this cat's gone. She went out this morning early, and we haven't seen the cat all day. Don't know where it's at. Well, I'll go back. I'll holler around her again. Don't know where she goes. But everything else is going good. Yeah, Thursday I'm going to be going over uptown to watch the Sheridan Polka band, so that's why I won't be at the meeting. I wanted to be there, but yeah, I only see the Sheridan Polka band once or twice a year, and especially now because it comes right to my doorstep, just about, just 2 miles up the street in Memorial Park, Veterans Memorial Park, right uptown. So I'll go up there. Other than that, yeah, I got to see when the club is going to have the picnic. I think it's going to be in September. I thought maybe. I don't know. And there's other clubs that are going to be doing them too. So I'll send it back to net. KC8FQV. There's a lot of activities happening out there. So you can't get bored. It is. Yeah. But the only problem is it sometimes gets so hot you don't want to do anything. So I'll send it back your way, Phil, KC8FQV.
All right, Mark, we sure will miss you at the meeting, and you enjoy that polka band. Sounds like a lot of fun. We'll be clear with KC8FQV. Now let's head on down to Harry, KE8ZZR. And the question is, what is the softest mineral on Earth? Over to you, Harry. This is K8PMI.
K8PMI, this is KE8ZZR. Good evening, Phil, and everybody else that's on the net. Let's get the trivia question out of the way first. I'm going to say white sand is being soft material. It's just a lucky guess. Getting ready to head out of town here tomorrow. We're heading up to Fenwick, Michigan. I got to get some work done on my camper. A little screw up on my part when I was down in Florida earlier this year. I tore the roof, and I'm having flex armor roof put on a camper this week, so we have to go up there and have that installed. And other than that, just late on the net here, trying to get some yard work done before we leave. I will not be at the meeting on Thursday, sadly enough. So with that, Phil, you're doing a great job running the net, and we'll talk to you later. This is KE8ZZR Clear.
All right, Harry, you drive safe. I know what it's like driving those big campers, but Michigan is definitely beautiful. It's one of my favorite spots up there. But during football season, I can't use the M word, so that's that. Hi. All right, Harry, take care, and you have a great day, and sand is not the correct answer, by the way. All right, that brings us to the bottom. Geez, we're only a half hour in. Let's see if we can get this going to 9 o'clock. Hopefully more people turned on the radio there. This is the WAWKY Sarah ClubNet. Your net control operator is Phil, K8PMI, and I'm looking for check-ins. Call now, please.
Whiskey 2, Juliet, Lima, Sierra, John, W2JLS in Fairlawn.
Comment.
Alpha, India 5, Quebec AI 5Q.
All right, I'll pick it up there. I got you, Jared, AI5Q and W2JLS. Let's get KD8SLG in here for a comment.
WWI, is this KD8SLG? I just wanted to answer Mark's question there about the club picnic. It's going to be September 13th. It's September 13th. So everybody put it on your calendar. We'll touch base with that on Thursday night at the club meeting. Thanks for letting me get in there, Phil. KD8SLG, back to net control.
Yeah, I saw that on the blue screen. Just didn't have time to comment, but thanks for jumping in and taking care of it for me. I appreciate it. All right, let's head on over to W2JLS. The question still is, what is the softest mineral on Earth? This is the last check for it, and I'll give you the answer, and then Jairus will get a new question. So, John, go ahead. It's your turn.
This is W2JLS. Mr. Phil, good evening on your ears, sir, to you and the ClubNet listeners and check-ins. The question, and I appreciate this one, I like the geology. When I was a kid, I did have some exposure to this. I'm hoping my guess is correct. I'm going to say talc. I think that was the bottom end of the Mohs hardness scale, but I wouldn't bet that it is absolutely the softest mineral. But that's the softest one that I remember from childhood. So that's my answer. Yeah, and I was planning on leaving the area, but I'm just whooped. I was going to go down to Charleston and spend some quality time with friends. There's a big carbon conference going on down there, and I'm a carbon scientist, and I've got colleagues, both current and past associates and stuff. I thought it may be fun to catch up, but I think I'm going to stay home and take care of the mountain of stuff I have going around here. So anyway, good to hear everybody in the air tonight, and thanks for running the net. W2JLS passing it back.
W2JLS JLS. Very good job. It is talc. So your geology paid off. So take care, and we'll catch you on down the log. Now let's head out to Tulsa. Jairus, AI5Q, your question is going to be, which state produces the most coal? AI5Q, this is K8PMI. You're up.
K8PMI, AI5Q. Let's see, which state produces the most coal? I'm going to say West Virginia, or Pennsylvania, I'm not sure. I'll go with West Virginia. I seem to remember a lot of coal plants being designed for a specific type of coal, especially a tangentially fired coal furnace. Has to have pulverized coal injected in a tangential angle to the coal fire stack there. And I remember talking about it with one of my professors in college, and I think most of the coal for Oklahoma power plants came from West Virginia, so that's going to be my guess. But other than that, having a good night. Kids are off roller skating with the pack and Cub Scouts, and Varric's home with me and doing dishes and putting stuff away and putting cabinet doors back on, stuff like that. So we're making a hand at it, and hopefully that earns us some bonus points with the wife when she gets home. AI5Q, back to you.
All right, Jairus. That is not the correct answer. Maybe one time it was the largest producer of coal, but it isn't now. So we'll be clear with AI5Q, and that brings us to the bottom of the list. So anybody else that just jumped on to the club net here, I'm looking for check-ins. This is K8PMI on the WAWKY net. Call now, please. I'm listening.
Whiskey 8, Echo Lima, Mike, Eric.
Kilo, Echo 8, Echo Hotel Golf, KE8EHG, Mike in Navarre.
K8, KCS, Kilo 8, Kilo Charlie Sierra, Zach from Dalton.
All right, I'll pick it up there. I got Eric and KE8EHG, and I got Zach there. So W8ELM, you're up next on the club net with the same question, and I forgot what the heck the question was. Well, I'll figure it out. You start off and tell us what you got going on.
W8WKY from W8ELM. Well, I think the question is still which state is the largest producer of coal? And I don't think I have an answer for that. I'm guessing, since it wasn't West Virginia, it's probably a state further west. But I know that if we're talking anthracite hard coal, it would probably be Pennsylvania. So I'll just say Pennsylvania, even though I know that's not going to be the largest producer. Back to Ned from W8ELM.
Very good guess, Eric. Pennsylvania is not the correct answer, and you are correct that it's out west. Believe it or not, I was shocked. So we'll leave that one up for Kevin, KE8EGH. Now you got a big hint. You just got to pick somebody out west. And for the trivia question, So KE8EGH, you're up next on the Club Net. KE8EGH. You out there, Kevin? KE8EGH. We're going to circle back with you. I'll drop down to Zach and then come back to you. You sounded like you got the repeater, but nothing came across. K8KCS. This is K8PMI. You're up next on the Club Net.
W8WKY and the net. This is K8KCS. Zach from Dalton. For trivia answer, I think the first two guesses are pretty good, and I don't know if I've got a third one for that, so I'm going to have to take a pass. But we're just trying to get settled back into a normal schedule here after some vacation time and spending some time up in Port Clinton with the family. We had a good time up there relaxing and even got some radio in. Got a park activation and got a special event station for the Union Pacific 4014 Big Boy. That was pretty cool. I had them 5.9 plus. They were loud and clear. They were just down the road from me, I think, and I was pretty excited to get them in the log. But had another busy week underway here. We've working on the back patio. We got it all dug out, all the old pavers out, and excavated about 6 inches of dirt and put some stone back in. Got it all leveled out, packed in. Got that all finished up yesterday, and this evening my brother came over and we got some sand down, and we got the first row of pavers in. So everything's looking good, coming together. And got a lot of work ahead of us here, but hoping to get the rest of them laid tomorrow and maybe Thursday and get it all finished up before the weekend. So it's been busy, but that's all I've got tonight. This is K8KCS. I'll send it back to net 73.
All right, you didn't give a, but yeah, the clue is it's out west. We'll give it one more shot if we get somebody else. So we'll be clear with K8KCS. Thanks a lot, Zach. Good luck with that patio. Keep laying those bricks. I've done that before, and I won't do it again. A lot of hard work. All right, I'm looking for KE8EGH. Kevin, you out there? You're up next on the Club Net. All right, we got none of that, Kevin. You're not holding repeater. Well, it's holding, but we're getting nothing. So I'm going to do another round of check-ins, and I'll try circling back to you. But if not, thank you very much for your check-in. Let's see, this is the W8WKY Sarah Club Net. We're at the bottom of the list, and I'm looking for check-ins. If you'd like to join us, call now, please. I'm listening.
W8WKY.
November 8, X-ray Kilo Delta. That is N8XKD. This is Ida from Barberton. Just checking in.
All right, Ida, I got you. N8XKD. You want to say anything to all the netizens out there, or are you just checking in and out?
Well, my husband gets a little upset when I just check in and out. He likes it if I actually say something to you guys. So I'm hoping you guys really like the scones that I made for field day breakfast on Sunday. And I haven't heard anything back from any of you guys about them. So I did try 2 noon recipes, so we'll see how they went.
All right, Ida. I will make a note of that and make sure we get some comments on that. But it was good seeing you out there on field day, and you enjoy your rest of your evening. We'll be clear with N8XKD, and that's the bottom of the list. So I'll do last call. This is K8PMI. Last call for the ClubNet. I'm listening.
Kilo Echo 8 Echo Hotel Golf, KE8EHG. This is Mike in Navarre.
All right, Mike in Navarre, you're up. It's KE8EHG.
Roger, extra Harry and Gray. Good evening. Heard you on the net. Just wanted to jump in there and say I'm enjoying the wonderful Ohio weather. No, I'm not. It's too daggone hot. Remind me in February. So, sounds like you got a good net there going on. I did not hear the trivia question, so I just wanted to jump in there and say hello.
All right, well, thank you very much. If you want a trivia question, I can give you one, because I forget which one I was on. It's been a few rounds here. Do you want one?
Go ahead, I'll try one. I'm game.
True or false? The North Pole always faces the sun.
True or false? Good question. Good question. Let me do some thinking here. If I say false, that's too easy. So I'm going to go with true. We'll try true. Let's see what happens.
You're always supposed to go with your first instinct. It was false. All right. That brings us to the bottom of the club net. So it was great having everybody out there. I think we had a great net. And other than that, just remember, successful nets rely on your participation. So please be a regular check-in from the Silvercreek Amateur Radio Association on the WAWKY repeater. We're at 147 Mark 39 megahertz in Doylestown, Ohio. We now return this frequency to regular amateur radio use. 73, everybody. This is K8PMI.
W8WKY, this is KF8GGC, just checking in and out. Good net tonight. And Ida, I enjoyed your scope.
All right, we got you checked in there. Thank you very much, and you have a safe and good evening.
One of those meteors that you're going to continually see meteors streaking through the skies about 1 week before as well as 1 week after on a continuous basis, even in the evenings. So we're looking forward to that. We do have a comet, Comet 10P Temple, or Temple 2, shining around 7th magnitude, passing through the constellations of Aquarius into Capricornus. Later in the evening, you may be able to see that. It's rapidly approaching the southern horizon. Still, you'll need some dark skies. Right now is a good time with the new moon. Today, we're going to have some fairly dark skies for the next several days, for sure, and then for about a week. So a good time to get out there and look at those morning, actually for another week and a half for sure, those morning objects for sure. The moon will not interfere. And that's it for the local astronomical news. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net.
W8WKY.
Just looking over there. Over on YouTube, I saw, okay, we got Doug. Doug checked in over here. All right. And he said hello. So, Ed, if you're over there on YouTube, say hi. And let me know you're out there, and I'll get you checked in onto the net officially there. Right now, I'll go ahead and pause here before I get into the bulletins for this evening. Anyone else wishing to check into tonight's Colorado Astronomy Net, please call with your call sign twice.
This is Kilo 0, Mike Charlie Whiskey. Kilo 0, Mike Charlie Whiskey, Tony and Morrison.
Foxtrot 0, Victor Lima Oscar. Kilo Foxtrot 0, Victor Lima Oscar. Ron and Bertha.
In there, and then one that got no audio from after that. However, I am looking on the activity board, and I'm seeing a November 3 G Golf Whiskey Golf. I don't know if that call is out there. If you are and tried to check in, definitely respond with your call sign phonetically twice. Go ahead.
Golf Whiskey Golf, November 3 Golf Whiskey Golf. My name is Stuart. Do you copy?
Golf for checking in tonight. That's a new call on the list, so welcome to the Colorado Astronomy Net. We appreciate you checking in tonight. I always like to touch base with my first-time check-ins, find out a little bit about background interest in astronomy, whether you're just starting out, looking at the stars, if you got a passing interest, or you've been doing it for 30 years or longer, done some studying, things like that. Again, my name is Ernest. That's Bravo, Uniform, Romeo, November, Echo, Sierra, Sierra, on the call sign Kilowatt India 0, Alpha, Romeo. Welcome to the net, Stuart. Tell us a little bit about your background interest in astronomy. Go ahead, please.
Absolutely. I would start off by saying that my interest is more tilted towards cosmology as opposed to astronomy per se, but certainly both are interests of mine. my formal training is I'm a computer scientist. It's the area of science I'm involved in. I do a lot of, there are a number of areas of science that I'm involved with and study, physics as well, and archaeology and some other sciences. But I would say astronomy and cosmology, besides computer science, are towards the top with physics. And I don't have a telescope at this point. I have had them in the past. I've also gone to some public telescopes at the Franklin Institute in Philadelphia many times, to the the name of the telescope is escaping me, in Los Angeles, and certainly all that interests me. I hope I didn't do anything wrong by checking in when I did, because you never called for digital check-ins. You called for on-air check-ins, and you called for YouTube check-ins, but never for digital check-ins. I'm coming in via digital, so I hope that I haven't violated the net's etiquette in any way. N3 GWG, Stewart here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Over.
No worries, Stuart. Yeah, I'm just taking check-ins as I get them. Anyway, any mode, anyhow. I do take them. If you have NetLogger, I'll take them there. If you have YouTube and when I post over there, I'll take them. I'll take them via email if you're out there listening. Analog, digital, whatever mode you happen to be working on. The Echolink has got all different ways to check in. So no worries about that, Stuart. Yeah, I'm a retired software engineer myself, aerospace and industry. Like I said, I've been doing the net for 30 years. We do talk about a little cosmology every now and then. That's one of my interests as well. All depends. What topics I happen to pick to talk about. Sometimes it's pretty heady, sometimes it's historical, sometimes it's just whatever is up there. But again, welcome to the net. Hopefully you can stick around. I do go down the list a little bit later on. We have a rocket report that Ed, W6RDC, will present in a little bit. So if you're interested in rocket launches around the world, please stick around for that. Let's see. I forgot to acknowledge Keaton, KF0 WWS, thanks for checking in tonight, and Ed, W6RDZ, thanks for checking in tonight. Anyone else wishing to check into tonight's Colorado Astronomy Net, please call with your call sign phonetically twice.
Kilo Oscar 6 Mike Zulu Oscar Kilo Oscar 6 Mike Zulu Oscar Cecilio from Stockton, California.
Charlie H.
This is Kilo 0 Mike Charlie Whiskey. Kilo 0 Mike Charlie Whiskey. Tony in Morrison, Colorado.
DW, thanks for checking in tonight. All right, I'm going to go start off with the bulletins for this evening. I usually start off with ISS passes. I'm trying to get rid of some of this advertisements they show on here. Let me pull that up real quick. Just a sec. If you're interested in ISS passes, you may want to check out this particular website, www.heavens-above.com. That's www.heavens-above.com. Check that website out. I do recommend that you log in or sign up, log in, and enter in your home coordinates for your location, which makes the data that you're pulling up for a particular satellite or whatever you're looking at more accurate for your location. Right now I'm showing visible ISS passes over the Denver area. The ISS is kind of going into a transition between early morning and late evening. So actually sometime between 1 a.m. to 10 p.m., so we're in that 3-hour window. I'm looking for a decent pass over the Denver area. I don't see too many of this. Skimming the northern horizon, I'm going to pull up one right now and show why I particularly like this website is I can pull up a nice star chart that I can print out on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. Take that outside and see the pass. This one wasn't very good. See the ISS pass and what constellations it's passing through. Looks like Leo Minor and Ursa Major right through the Big Dipper there. This particular one on the morning of July 20th. So next Monday, next Monday evening, I should say, just a very short one. But they may be passing your area over at a different times, different altitudes, things like that. Again, www.heavens-above.com for more information. And that's it for that bulletin. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. Got an interesting bulletin for historical bulletin. We do have our astronomy historian, but hopefully this won't take away from his history lesson tonight. Viking, 50 years on Mars. The first successful lander on Mars, NASA's three-legged Viking 1, touched down safely on July 20th, 1976 at 7:53 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. It gave humanity our first ground-level view of the red planet, joined 6 weeks later by its twin lander, Viking 2, and the two orbiters that accompanied them. The Viking mission broke ground on Mars surface exploration 50 years ago. A search that missions have been building on ever since and are carrying into the future. Only 10 years before the Viking mission launched, Mars was still just a mottled orange ball when viewed through even the best Earthbound telescopes with few discernible features. 3 NASA missions flew past in the 1960s, snagging grainy snapshots of a sliver of Mars as they hurtled by. In 1971, the Mariner 9 spacecraft arrived and stayed, the first to orbit any other planet besides Earth. It photographed 85% of the Martian surface, revealing enormous volcanoes and canyons never seen before, and evidence that water once flowed across what had been thought to be a barren moonscape. By then, NASA had already achieved the goal of landing not 1, but a dozen men on the moon and returning them safely to Earth. But Mars remained an enigma. Not even a robotic lander had gotten there to show us the view from the ground. It was finally time to dig into the red rocks and see what was there, or had been there millions of years earlier when Mars was warmer and wetter. On July 20th, 1976, the 7th anniversary of the Apollo 11 moon landing, the Viking 1 lander touched down safely on the red planet at 7:53 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. The radio signal confirming success took 19 more minutes to travel the 212 million miles to Earth, where the mission team gathered at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Southern California after celebrating the accomplishment, then marveling at the two images the lander immediately relayed home. The team got to work. A twin lander, Viking 2, arrived 6 weeks later, touching down on the other side of the planet September 3rd, 1976. The Vikings were actually two pairs of spacecraft. The landers teamed with orbiters that ferried the surface craft to Mars, then remained aloft, circling the planet. The orbiters collected their own data, relayed and the findings of the landers to Earth and captured images from above Mars far superior to anything Mariner 9 managed only 5 years earlier. More than 52,000 images in all. The landers collected another 4,500 plus, extending humankind's vision to Mars for the first time. The Viking project certified the equipment and methods used to get a spacecraft safely on the Martian surface. A playbook mission followed successfully for decades thereafter, and for the first time humans packed and shipped a self-contained science lab to another world. It took the first measurements in an ongoing search for life beyond Earth, a journey that step by step took us through findings by successive missions. Those built upon each other, leading to recent discoveries by NASA's Curiosity Mars rover of organic compounds that can't be fully explained by non-biologic processes, and by the agency's Perseverance rover of potential biosignatures, clues suggesting the presence of ancient microbial life, which then NASA Administrator Sean Duffy called the closest we have ever come to discovering life on Mars. This is KI0A, our net control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. Continuing. Even today, rovers are gathering more evidence, searching more territory, continuing the exploration that Viking began 50 years ago, a pursuit that coming missions will carry into the future and across the face of Mars. And here's another little tidbit. Besides taking digital images and collecting other science data on the Martian surface, the two landers conducted 3 biology experiments designed to look for possible signs of life. These experiments discovered unexpected and enigmatic chemical activity in Martian soil, but provided no clear evidence for the presence of living microorganisms in soil near the landing sites. In order to test instruments for the Viking program, early astrobiologists and exobiologists at NASA traveled to some of Earth's most remote environments, including the dry valleys of Antarctica and the Atacama Desert in Chile. These places are thought to be some of the best analogs for Mars that we have on Earth. And studying life in such locations has become an important element of astrobiology research at Mars. The Viking results also taught scientists a great deal about how little we knew about life on Earth and how to detect it. To this day, the results are helping to shape the development of life detection strategies and equipment at NASA and other international agencies. And that's it for the bulletin for this evening. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. I'm going to go ahead and call on Ed, W6RDZ, for tonight's rocket report. Ed, are you ready to give the rocket report? Go ahead.
Good evening, Bernice. Good evening to the net. If you want to give me a radio check there, I can get started with the rocket report.
W8WKY.
Your solid copy into the repeater there, Ed. Please go ahead with the rocket report tonight. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net.
Very well, Bernice, very well. Yes, this is Rocket Man Ed, W6RDZ, ready to rocket and roll with the rocket report for Tuesday, July 14th. We're going to be looking back to the 7th and forward to the 21st. It has been a big week in space. SpaceX sets a new Falcon 9 landing and recovery record. China lands an orbital class booster. Russia launches a new crew to the ISS, and SpaceX readies for the imminent launch of Starship Flight 13. Last week treated us to 6 orbital launches. The first one on Thursday, July 9th, at 3:25 Mountain Standard Time. SpaceX set a reuse record when they successfully launched Starlink Group 10-42 on a Falcon 9 from Pad Slick 40, Cape Canaveral, Florida. This was Booster 1067's 36th flight. If she makes it to 40 flights, she will beat the Space Shuttle Discovery's all-time record of 39 flights. It was the 80th Falcon 9 flight for 2026 and the 680th successful SpaceX mission overall. I think we should reset the repeater there. All right, second launch was also last Thursday, July 9th at 22:15 Mountain Daylight Time. China Aerospace and Science Corporation, CASIX, successfully launched and landed the booster stage of the maiden demo flight of their new Long March 10B rocket. With a successful landing and recovery of the 10B booster on the recovery vessel at sea, CASIX joined SpaceX and Blue Origin in the elite Booster Recovery Club. With a seagoing recovery barge much larger than SpaceX or Blue Origin, CASIX gently caught the landing rocket with an elaborate cabled arrestor net and support frame. The disposable upper stage placed some sort of test payload in low Earth orbit. The whole rocket is a bit smaller than the Falcon 9. The landing looked great, except for the thick black smoke plume off the top of the booster. The smoke looked to be like burning hydraulic fluid, not venting RCS propellant as CASIX had proposed. And of course, check out the video on the link in the online report. Okay, third launch, Friday, July 10th at 21:01 Mountain Daylight Time. SpaceX successfully launched Starlink Group 17-48 from Slick 4E at Vandenberg Space Force Base, California. Another 24 Starlink V2 minis joined the constellation in sun-synchronous orbit. The repeater there. W6RGZ back with the rocket report. This for Friday's Starlink Group 1748 launch. It was the 660th successful Falcon 9 launch with the 165th orbital launch of 2026. It was a foggy nighttime Vandenberg launch, but most remarkably, you could still see the rocket and the pad from the ground cameras. All right, fourth launch of the week, Monday at 1916 Mountain Daylight Time. SpaceX successfully launched Starlink Group 15-14 mission from Vandenberg Space Force Base. It was a glorious daylight, clear sky launch from Vandenberg. Fifth launch of the week today, July 14th at 03:10 Mountain Daylight Time. SpaceX launched Starlink Group 10-45 from Slick 40, Cape Canaveral. The launch added another 29 V2 Minis high-speed internet satellites to the Starlink constellation. SpaceX manages more than 10,700 Starlink satellites in low Earth orbit. The flight sets the 600th launch of a reused Falcon 9 booster. All right, sixth launch and last launch of the week, also this morning, Tuesday, July 14th at 08:47 Mountain Daylight Time. Roscosmos successfully launched the crewed Soyuz MS-29 mission on a Soyuz 2.1A rocket to the ISS from Baikonur Cosmic Drome in Kazakhstan. W6RGZ back with the Colorado Astronomy Net's rocket report. We were talking about Roscosmos' launch of the crewed Soyuz MS-29 mission this morning. That went to the International Space Station. The new crew consists of cosmonauts Pyotr Dubrov, Anna Kinkinka, and NASA astronaut Anil Menton. The trio plans to spend about 6 months in the International Space Station. Soyuz MS-29 docked uneventfully with the ISS at 11:52 this morning over the Mediterranean at an altitude of 260 statute miles, and hatch opening was to occur at 1400 Mountain Daylight Time. And there's, of course, links in the online version if you want to watch any of that. That brings us up to 6 upcoming launches on the docket for the coming week, including the big launch of Starship Flight 13 on Thursday. First launch of the week, SpaceX is scheduled for Thursday, July 16th at 14:32 Mountain Standard Time to launch Tranche 1 Transporter Layer E mission on a Falcon 9 departing Vandenberg Space Force Base in California. The mission is one of 6 missions by the U.S. Space Force for the Tranche 1 constellation, and it will provide assured, resilient, low-latency military data and connectivity worldwide. This flies into polar orbit, resetting the repeater. All right, that brings us to the second launch, the big launch news of the week. That the official SpaceX confirmed FAA-approved first launch date for Starship Flight Test 13 is scheduled for the day after tomorrow, Thursday, July 16th at 16:45 Mountain Daylight Time. Thursday's launch window opens at 16:45 and closes at 18:15 Mountain Daylight Time. On July 1st, the upper stage, Ship 20, passed a full 1-minute static fire of all 6 Raptor engines. This week, on July 10th, Booster 40 performed a flawless second, full 33-engine hot fire. We are ready to stack. This is the second flight test of Starship Super Heavy version 3, the largest rocket ever built, and Super Heavy launch vehicle that will make the U.S. moon base and colonization of Mars possible. This will be the 13th Starship test flight and the second of 2026. The flight profile will be very similar to Flight 12, a suborbital with upper stage Ship 4 splashing down in the Indian Ocean, and first stage Booster 20 making a controlled space splashdown in the Gulf of Mexico. Changes for Flight 13 include the first deployment of 20 upgraded Starlink version 3 satellites, making the first Starlink version 3 base. We'll reset the repeater there. This is W6RDZ back with the Rocket Report. We're talking about the big Starship launch coming up. 6 of those version 3 Starlinks will be fitted with video cameras, so we're expecting some more spectacular footage of deployment. Regarding the fixes for what went wrong with Flight 12, Space.com's Josh Dinner reports, quote, according to a new SpaceX analysis, a sequence change in the ship's engines, which ignite the 2 rocket halves physically attached in a maneuver known as hot staging, led to a 90-degree error in Super Heavy's orientation after, according to SpaceX, I doubled myself there. We had that 90-degree error, and Super Heavy's boost back burn was also cut short when 5 of its 33 engines failed to ignite. SpaceX says it has introduced a modified startup sequence for ship and hardware updates to the Super Heavy to address the orientation anomaly and ignition issues respectively, along with upgrades to engine alarms and aborts to match the conditions seen in the multi-engine flight environment. Bottom line, well, it looks like SpaceX has figured out what went wrong and has fixed it. All right. Well, there's links to all that information in the online report. Go SpaceX. Right, that brings us to the third launch next week, Friday the 17th at 05:20 Mountain Daylight Time, China's K6. It is scheduled for launch along March 7A from the Wenchang Space Launch Site. The payload's not disclosed. Just for ID, this is W6RDZ for the Colorado Astronomy Net's Rocket Report. Fourth launch rescheduled for Friday, July 7th at 2300. India's Skyroot Aerospace plans to launch the Angana mission. That's a demo flight for the first launch of the Vikram 1 rocket from Satish Dhawan Space Center in India. This is the maiden flight of India's first commercial private launch vehicle. Fifth launch Monday at 0800 Mountain Daylight Time. SpaceX is scheduled to launch Starlink Group 17-49 from Slick 4E Vandenberg Space Force Base. Sixth launch Tuesday, July 21st at 15:15 Mountain Daylight Time. SpaceX intends to launch the MRV-1 mission on a Falcon 9 departing Slick 40 Cape Canaveral. The MRV, or Mission Robotic Vehicle, is a satellite servicing payload built by Northrop Grumman, designed to attach to mission extension pods on satellites in geostationary orbit to keep them on station over the course of their line. Okay, that brings us to tonight's space news. The next epic space telescope has arrived in Florida on 30th. We'll reset the repeater. This is W6RGZ, back with the rocket report for the Colorado Astronomy Net. All right, so we got an epic space telescope arriving arriving in Florida ahead of its launch on August 30th. The Nancy Grace Roman telescope, Hubble's approximate replacement, is scheduled for a Sunday, August 30th, to launch on a Falcon 9 rocket going to Earth Lagrange point L2. Hubble and Roman have the same 2.5-meter mirror from the old KH-11 spy satellite program, but Roman's wide field instrument sees a view about 100 times as wide as Hubble. Roman is a near-infrared telescope operating just below Hubble's optical frequencies. The planet imaging coronagraph built in Pasadena, California, the sky-scanning main image instrument built in Boulder, Colorado, and the Hubble-sized main mirror from Rochester, New York, all travel to the Goddard Space Station in Greenbelt, Maryland, for final assembly. The two major segments were assembled November 25th, 2025. The fully assembled space telescope arrived at Kennedy Space Center on June 30th for pre-flight testing. For more information on this remarkable astronomy instrument, check W6RDZ reset. W6RDZ, back with the Colorado Astronomy Net rocket report. One more quick item. I just have a link there in the online report. Check out Space's new 30-minute documentary, Critical Path, detailing preparations for Starship Flight 12. All right, that's it for tonight's Colorado Astronomy Net's rocket report. This is W6RDZ, Rocket Man Ed, wishing you a good night and night. Now, back to Starman Burness, KI0AR, Capcom Mission Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net.
This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. Thanks for that, Ed. Appreciate you doing the rock report as always. So thanks for that. I'm going to go ahead and call on John, W2JLS. Good evening to you, John. What's your history topic, astronomical history topic for this evening? Go ahead and share that with us, please. W2JLS, this is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net.
This is W2JLS, John, transmitting from Fairlawn, Ohio. I'll say a big hello to Mission Control, Burness, KI0AR, and Rocketman Ed, W6RDZ, and all the listeners out there of the Colorado Astronomy Net. Very sincere good evening on your ears to all of you. Tonight's story, keeping with the spirit of space exploration, it's like whenever I listen to the rocket report, it's like we're still doing this and we're not doing it halfway, apparently. And as Burness pointed out earlier with his historical perspective, we're always after something. And this story takes us back some 32 years. To me, in my lifetime, this is one of the most extraordinary stories in modern space history. And I'm sure many listeners will recall, those of you that are old enough to have been paying attention 32 years ago anyway. For those of you that weren't, it's worth letting the story in. For background, I'll say that despite the crux of this occurring this month 32 years ago, for background it's worth mentioning it's kind of started in earlier, like 1993 in the spring at California's Palomar Observatory. At that time, there were 3 scientists examining photographic plates from a previous night's observation, and those included one particularly noteworthy figure, planetary geologist Gene Shoemaker, but Gene's wife, Carolyn Shoemaker, and their longtime friend and amateur astronomer, David Levy. These guys weren't looking for history; they were digging for comets, and they were doing what generations of astronomers have always done. They were looking very carefully. Carolyn was like an eagle eye, apparently. She noticed something in the photographic plates. It was not like this brilliant, obvious, spectacular comet, not a brilliant streak across her plates. It was rather just a faint, fuzzy object near Jupiter that didn't quite fit in. It would have been easily dismissed as other professionals looked over her shoulder later. They were amazed that she spotted this. When she looked, she described it to her husband, saying something like, "I'm not quite sure what I'm seeing, but it sort of looks like it might be a squashed comet." And that careful second look kind of changed the face of things that would take place through time. So that comet, as it turned out to be a comet, became known as Comet Shoemaker-Levy 9, which was the 9th discovered by the Shoemaker-Levy team. So these guys were not, it's difficult to think of them as amateurs. They were doing this very aggressively. They were serious about it. As they analyzed the comet's orbit, they realized something else that was a bit astonishing. This was not an ordinary comet just passing through the solar system. The fact was that Jupiter had already captured it during an earlier close encounter in July of 1992. Another July moment. The giant planet, with its immense gravity, literally tore during that passage the comet, into more than 20 major fragments. A magnificent, as it came to be known, cosmic string of pearls stretching across nearly 1 million miles of space. When they ran the numbers, every fragment was on the same inevitable path, heading straight towards collision with Jupiter. So for myself, I was a kid in my 20s, and I recall, this being a big news item, and everyone knew these were going to hit the planet Jupiter, but nobody really knew quite what would take place. Other than thanks to the Shoemaker-Levy team, we were all going to be watching and paying very close attention. And obviously, by that time, we had means to look at it well. So. We all waited for 16 months. Professional observatories and spacecraft teams, everyone was kind of preparing for their job in this. And then, between July 16th and July 22nd in 1994, fragment after fragment slammed into Jupiter. For the first time in recorded history, humanity watched a comet collide with a planet. Towering plumes erupting thousands of kilometers above Jupiter's cloud tops. Dark scars, some larger than the Earth, spread across the face of the planet. And unlike the giant, this story that I told last week about the guest star, this time we didn't have to reconstruct history centuries later. this time we were paying attention, so we captured this. So if you haven't seen it, you really need to go dig it up. You can look at it on YouTube and other places online. I will say one of the most impressive of those, you'll actually see that it was bright enough during one of those impacts where it kind of outshone Jupiter itself. So I want to also just take a moment to unpack a little bit about these people that were involved here. So these are pretty remarkable individuals in that they were doing what they were doing, but Gene Shoemaker particularly is considered one of the founders of planetary geology. Some of you space buffs, moon buffs, will recognize Gene. He was born back in 1928, but he helped demonstrate that craters on the moon were formed by impacts rather than volcanoes. At the time, those were not known true facts. Those were speculations. So that was part of his life's work. NASA, recognizing that talent during the Apollo program, Gene was very ambitious and trained with astronauts around Meteor Crater in Arizona and the volcanic fields in Flagstaff, teaching them how to look at rocks, so when they got up to the moon, they would be able to study them well. Gene himself dreamt of being the first professional geologist to walk on the moon and trained to be an astronaut. And he was supposed to do the same. But in 1963, he was diagnosed with Addison's disease. That ended his dream of ever getting to space with the Apollo mission. But so Gene just spent the rest of his life looking to explore with his wife Carolyn at his side and his colleague Mr. Levy. You know, as we've already unpacked, they did a lot of comet hunting, but you know, there's a little bit more to say about this. And as I was doing my research, I might have heard about this in passing, but I did dig into it and I found a little bit more out. And I thought I'd share it with you because I'm betting some of you didn't know this. So, Gene, he remained a field scientist literally to the very end. In July of 1997, he and Carolyn, his wife, were out in the Australian outback searching for an ancient meteorite, some impact craters that were known to be there. And he's still asking the same questions that inspired his life work. And then, sadly, on July 18th, Gene was tragically killed in an automobile accident there in Australia while returning from the field. Carolyn was with him. He was 69 years old at the time. He died, but Carolyn survived. There is a quiet irony in this. You know, here he is doing his life's work on the planet, and studying these scars left behind by all these collisions. Never stopping the search. He never fulfilled his dream of walking on the moon, but the history here has one final surprise. When NASA announced Lunar Prospector mission to end in 1999, a small capsule carrying a portion of Gene Shoemaker's ashes were sent and placed aboard the spacecraft. It was intentionally guided into the lunar surface. So, today, Gene Shoemaker remains the only human whose remains rest on another celestial body. Can't quite imagine a more fitting tribute to a man that taught Apollo astronauts how to explore the moon and spent his life researching them himself here on Earth. So, with that, this is W2JLS, John in Fairlawn, wishing everyone clear skies and a good evening on your ears. Back to Burnus, KI0AR at Mission Control.
Comment KI6WPK.
KI6WPK. William, go ahead with your comment. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net.
W8W.
Well, thank you for that wonderful history. I enjoyed hearing the history of Shoemaker, Levy. I just wanted to mention that I won an auction in 1994. I won an auction to go to Mount Hamilton and spend the evening with the orbital, the space people up there on the mountaintop, and I was able to look through the 36-inch telescope and see the impact craters from the Shoemaker levee, and I will never forget that evening with the technical people and seeing that view. So that's all I wanted to say. KI6WPK.
All right, Bill, no problems. We got you checked in as well, KI6WPK. Thanks for checking in. And Mark, we got you checked in too, KC8FQV. All right, this is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. I had my telescope out in the backyard. It wasn't a 36er, it was only an 8-inch scope, John, and saw those impact spots on Jupiter as well. It was quite fascinating to see those the black scars as they rotated around on the planet. So after they had occurred, definitely interesting. So appreciate you sharing that with us. I'll go ahead and pause here to see if there are any more check-ins before I go down the list. Anyone else wishing to check in to tonight's Colorado Astronomy Net, please call with your call sign phonetically twice.
This is N5 ZIQ, November 5 Zulu, India, Quebec. It's Moy in Houston with the thunderstorms tonight, and we're in and out early. Thanks a lot. See you at 73s.
Whiskey 2 Hotel Alpha Zulu, Whiskey 2 Hotel Alpha Zulu, Eric in Albany, New York.
Kilo Echo 8 Zulu Romeo Yankee. Kilo Echo 8 Zulu Romeo Yankee. Jeremy, Jonesville, Ohio.
Okay, good evening to you, Moy. N5 ZIQ, stay safe. We got you in and out. Yeah, definitely. Watch out for those thunderstorms. Eric, we got you on the list, W2HAZ. Thanks for checking in tonight. And Jeremy in Ohio, KE8ZRY. Thanks for the check-in tonight. That's a new call on the list, so welcome to the Colorado Astronomy Net. To appreciate you checking in. I'm going to go a little backwards tonight. We got Eric in New York. I know it's late there, and we got Jeremy, who was the new check-in. Hopefully you guys been listening in, and appreciate that. Jeremy, my name is Ernest. That's Bravo Uniform Romeo November Echo Sierra Sierra. The call sign Kilowatt India 0 Alpha Romeo. You've found the Colorado Astronomy Net, so welcome. Appreciate you checking in tonight. I always like to touch base with my first-time check-ins, find out a little bit more about your interest, background in astronomy, whether you're just starting out or you've been doing it for decades like I have, or somewhere in between. I will let you share that with us, and if you've got any other comments for the net as well. KE8ZR welcome to the net. Tell us a little bit about your background, interest in astronomy, and anything else you'd like to pass along to the net. Go ahead.
Well, good evening. This is KE8ZRY, Jeremy here in Jonesville, Ohio. Hope everybody's doing well. This is the first time on the net, as you had mentioned. I was just sitting here listening to the radio and happened to hear it come on. It's been interesting listening to the net. Ever since I was a kid, I've had some sort of interest in astronomy here and there. Space is just very intriguing to me when it comes to the planets and other celestial beings that are out there and everything. I was in the military for 5 years, and my MOS was satellite network coordinator, so I got to deal with satellite communications and such. Toured the Boeing satellite plant in LA, and that was fascinating. It was kind of interesting to learn that the XM satellite radios and the new military satellites that we were launching at the time were on the same platform. The space is always intriguing. SpaceX, especially with the advancements and everything that they're doing with rocketry and such, and space exploration in general. It's fascinating. NASA. I was bummed when the funding for NASA got cut. A couple decades ago and such, but now it's back, and I'm kind of happy to see that. So hopefully we keep pushing that frontier. With that, I'll pass it back to Net Control. This is KE8ZRY. Thank you for checking me in.
All right, Jeremy, I appreciate that. Thanks for your service as well. We've got some vets here as well, including myself, retired Navy myself, though, so I do appreciate your service. Thanks for checking in tonight. Yeah, we have some similar backgrounds. Mine was also with satellite work, both in the military and civilian life as well. So welcome to the net. And stick around. We have a little bit more time left. This is the period where I go down the list and talk with everybody, so you may want to listen, and we'll give you another call. I'm going to go to Eric in New York. I know it's late there, Eric, so I do appreciate you checking in. If you've got any comments for us, questions or observational reports for us tonight, go ahead. W2HAZ, go ahead, sorry.
KI0RA, W2HAZ. I remember seeing the video of the Shoemaker Levy comet going into Jupiter. I thought it was very fascinating. And I believe I watched the video of it when it actually, or right after it actually happened. And I believe that was back in the 90s. And I was a younger man then. But it's very fascinating how much energy was released during that impact. And it was quite fascinating. I guess that's my only comment. Thanks a lot for running the Nappers. W2HAZ.
All right, Eric. Yeah, multiple impacts, tremendous amounts of energy there. 1994. How old was I? 37. Looking through my own telescope several nights in a row just to see what was going on with that and how that changed. All right. Appreciate your comments. Appreciate you checking in tonight. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. This is kind of running a little backwards tonight for our new check-in and our East Coasters there. But right now, we're going to go down the list. Anybody else questions, comments, observation reports, anything you'd like to pass along to the net? Now's the time to do it. First on the list tonight is Jack, KE0VH. Good evening to Jack. What have you got for the net tonight? Go ahead. Hey, nothing from Jack tonight, but be sure to check out his flight sim on Mondays and Wednesdays. He's got one coming up tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. Mountain Time over on YouTube. Captain Jack Flight Sim, check that out. The next on the list is Paul in Utah, WIA7GVL. Good evening to you, Paul. What have you got for the net tonight? Go ahead.
Good evening to you, Bernice. Good evening to the net. Well, it's 78 degrees here in Utah, which is quite a bit cooler than it's been. And we do have some thunderstorms going through with some monsoonal flow. So I've been traveling quite a bit lately, and with the weather, I can't even see the night sky. So, unfortunately, we have seasonal monsoons, and this is my favorite time of year because I can go sit out on the back porch and just enjoy the stars, usually with a cigar. So, hope everyone has a good evening, and that's all I've got for this. WA7GVL, Cedar City, Utah, home of the dark sky.
All right, Paul, I appreciate your comments. I appreciate you checking in tonight. And, yeah, be safe, for sure. No lighting any of those fires. We got enough smoke from everybody else coming from that direction. Let's see. Next on the list, Doug, K0DP. Good evening to you, Doug. What have you got for the net tonight? Go ahead. Oh, Doug signed off early. Looking over there. Yep. John in Australia signed out early as well. VK3HJQ. Do appreciate you guys checking in. We'll go to West Virginia. Rip. K3XO. Good evening to you, Rip. What have you got for the net tonight? Go ahead.
Well, it's K3XO, and anything to contribute. It was an interesting net tonight. I enjoyed it a lot, so carry on, and 7320. Back to you, K3XO.
Next on the list is David in Ohio, WE8M. Good evening to you. David, what have you got for the net tonight? Go ahead.
Good evening, Bertus. Everyone else on the net. This is WE8M. Well, this is the first clear night I've been able to set up the C-Star for the last couple of weeks or so. Maybe even a month. But we finally got a clear night. I'm trying out the new firmware on the S50. And with the auto plan function, right now I'm imaging the Butterfly Nebula, IC 1318B. In about 20 minutes, it's going to change over to the Western Veil Nebula, see what I get from that. So, anyway, just don't have anything more to add, so back to net. KI0AR in the net. This is WE8M. We 8M.
All right, David. Appreciate your comments. Appreciate you checking in tonight. And yeah, I would love to see your images once you get them filtered and all set up and the way you like them. Who knows? Maybe even post them in the newsletter if that's all right. I would love to see that as well for sure. But I'm sure you're having fun with that new system there. Appreciate your comments and appreciate you checking in tonight. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. Next on the list is Wesley in Kentucky, KF4WLQ. Good evening to Wesley. What have you got for the net tonight? Go ahead. Next on the list is Mark up in Longmont, K0GLR. Good evening to you, Mark. What have you got for the net tonight? Go ahead.
Listener, I live here in my canyon. I like to listen to you guys because you come through and it's dabbling, so to speak. Not truly an astrologist or anything by that means, but I enjoy listening to your show every Tuesday night. It really beats anything you find on the TV these days. And there's no advertisement.
Not a difference there. All right. Let's see. Next on the list is Christopher up in Ontario of VA3CL. Good evening to Christopher. Again, welcome to the Colorado Astronomy Net. What have you got for us tonight? Go ahead. All right, Mark, I think I may have doubled with you, but I do appreciate your comments and appreciate you checking in tonight. Next on the list is Christopher up in Ontario, VA3CLB. Good evening to you, Christopher. Again, welcome to the net. What have you got for us tonight? Go ahead. Okay, he was out there mobile, so he made it to his destination. All right, next on the list is John in Ohio. W2JLS. Good evening to you, John. Thanks for the nightly history lesson. I appreciate that. Seemed to have gone over quite well, so thanks for that. What have you got for us tonight? Go ahead.
Hi, 0AR. This is W2JLS. Thanks, Bernice. I enjoyed that, recalling that myself. I was a young scientist in Pennsylvania back then, and I would drive from my parents' home in New York to work in Towanda, Pennsylvania, and it was definitely very much something we were paying attention to, as you obviously were with your scope in the backyard. That's really cool. As I sat there reflecting on those days, and it's fun because that's one of those where most of us were alive, and some of the listeners were. It triggered memories, and I think that's kind of neat. For me, I was thinking of while I was recalling that and listening to what some of the callers were saying, I thought back at other things in that period for me. While I was seeing how that was maybe the most literally impactful comet I've ever seen. Impactful. Hellbop was amazing also, not so impactful physically, but certainly glorious. But I did recall something that's got less to do with space and astronomy, although this man did sing Fly Me to the Moon. The thing I was going to share was a few months before I saw that comet break up and strike Jupiter, I saw Frank Sinatra, who is still alive, at SPAC, the Saratoga Performing Arts Center. And he did sing Fly Me to the Moon. Anyway, Bernice, thanks for having me in the air tonight. Appreciate you running the net for 30 years. That's just wild. W2JLS, passing it back.
All right, John. Yeah, unfortunately, I hadn't gotten my license back yet. I got that in, I think that was in '94, like you said, and I didn't get my license again until '95. So I didn't get to touch too much about Shoemaker. I think we may have done something on the net earlier in those early days, and talked about that when we were looking at comments and such, but didn't get to do that live, or sort of live, or within a few weeks of it, so I missed out on that. But we've got quite a few different events over the 30 years for the net, for sure. All right, John, appreciate you doing that. Appreciate your comments. Appreciate you checking in tonight. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. Next on the list is Daniel in Highlands Ranch, KF0WXE. Good evening to you, Daniel. What have you got for the net tonight? Go ahead. Next on the list is Keaton up in Superior, KF0WWS. Good evening to you, Keaton. What have you got for the net tonight? Go ahead. Next on the list is Tony out in Morrison, K0MCW. Good evening to you, Tony. What have you got for the net tonight? Go ahead. Next on the list is Stuart in Nevada, N3GWG. Good evening to you, Stuart. Again, welcome to the Colorado Astronomy Net. What have you got for us tonight? Go ahead.
To say I really did enjoy the net. It's a very long net, but definitely all the information was interesting. I'm also a former military. I was a career reservist in the U.S. Navy and worked in space systems for a good portion of that time. I was part of the Naval Reserve Space Warfare Headquarters Command for a number of years and worked out of the NRO, and as well was involved with a number of different interesting projects when I was there. But I worked directly for the Naval Space Cadre Advisor at one point, which is definitely an interesting assignment. And I've been, just kind of to expand on my interest in astronomy. I mean, I've at some point in the future do want to get my own telescope and want to see what kind of astrophotography I can do and see what I can look at. But I have to say, with things like Hubble and JWST taking such amazing pictures, I'm not sure that the astrophotography is going to come out anywhere near what I see in other places. But I'm definitely interested in potentially getting my own telescope in the near future. So we will see. But living in Las Vegas, there's a lot of light pollution, so unless I go somewhere special like that, I'll see as much as I would in other places. I'll let it drop for a second. Stuart, we lost you there. N3GWG, go ahead. We lost you. You said you were going to drop for a second. You didn't come back. So go ahead. I'm not hearing anything back from net control, so I'm just wondering if I made the repeater or made the connection there, that anyone heard any of that. Yeah, Stuart, we did hear you. Do you hear me? Over. Go ahead. I do now. I'm connecting to the net via the YSF reflector on my M1KE. So at different points, I saw first before I heard that transmission from you, I saw your call come up for about 15 seconds, and I didn't hear any audio, and then I saw All Sky Hub come up on my M1K for about 10 seconds, but I didn't hear any audio, and then I just keyed up, and then you just responded now, so I'm not sure if there's a glitch or something going on, but I saw a couple transmissions that didn't seem to have any audio with them at all, and 3 GWG.
W8WKY.
Comment.
All right, Stuart. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what went on. Yeah, this is an interesting system, the Skylink system we're hooked into, and maybe we're just overheating the Wires X repeater or something like that. I don't know. But Stuart, again, welcome to the Colorado Astronomy Net. Do appreciate your comments. Appreciate you checking in tonight. This is KIR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. Next on the list is Ed, W6RDZ. Good evening to you, Ed, in Broomfield. What have you got for us tonight? Go ahead.
Good evening again, Bernice. Yeah, what I've got for you is a big thank you for putting on the net, doing the net control, and it's a privilege to contribute. Yeah, that's about it. I'd also want to give a big thanks to John for that Shoemaker Levy 9 presentation. That was a great trip back in the Wayback Machine. I, like you, did witness that. I remember very much anxiously watching the movies of that as those black spots appeared, the flashes on the backside, the incredible luck that we had a space probe, one of our Jupiter probes, that was just approaching the planet and was able to witness that. And the one thing that struck me the most of that, I remember seeing it. I think I saw it with my naked eye on somebody's telescope, but it was a big comet, an impact. And that's turns out they estimate that to only be a 1 in 6,000 year occurrence. So we were extremely fortunate to have caught that. That's all I have, Bernice. 73 W6RDZ, back to net control.
All right, Ed. Yep, some of us were definitely fortunate to catch that. Not only just one piece, but 9 pieces of one comet that broke up. So to appreciate, yeah, that was definitely neat to see. I'm going to go ahead and acknowledge Roy, KI7PKL. Thanks for checking in tonight. Greg, KC8GW, and Steve, KM6BAY over on YouTube. Thanks for checking in, guys. Let's see, where were we? Mark, up in KC8FQV. Good evening to you, Mark. What have you got for the net tonight? Go ahead.
And I just was listening along and didn't catch everything, so I just wanted to stop in. Many weeks there's always something going, so I just want to send it back to net control and we'll see what's happening. So KCFQV is interesting, and it's a great thing to have the net logger, because if you mention things get typed there, and you can go and look at them. So the links. So I'll send it back to net control, KC8FQV.
All right, Mark, appreciate your comments. Appreciate you checking in tonight. Next on the list is Bill out in California, KI6WPK. Good evening to you, Bill. What have you got for the net tonight? Go ahead. Okay, Bill, if that was you on the air there, we got sounded more like an open mic. No audio, no voice audio. If you want to try again, KI6WPK, what have you got for us tonight, Bill? Go ahead. Okay, don't know what that was all about. Let's see, Moy down in Texas checked in and out and finds CIQ, so we go to Eric. Let's see, we talked to Eric up in New York and Jeremy. Let's see. Well, we'll just go ahead and ask Eric if you're still hanging around, if you've got anything on W2HAZ. Got anything else for us tonight, Eric? Go ahead. And Jeremy in Ohio, KE8ZRY. Good evening to you, Jerry. Jeremy, again, welcome to the net. If you got anything else for us tonight, go ahead.
This is KE8ZRY, Jeremy here in Jeromesville. Nope, nothing else for the net. I hope everybody has a good evening. It's been a pleasure listening and hearing everybody talk about the things of the past as far as space goes. It's always interesting to hear those stories. With that, I'll say 73 to you. This is KE8ZRY.
All right, Jeremy, again, welcome to the net. I appreciate it. Appreciate your comments. Appreciate you checking in tonight. Next on the list, Roy up in Oregon, KI7PKL. Good evening to you, Roy. What have you got for the net tonight? Go ahead.
Well, good evening, Vernon and the net. Yeah, my node had to pick that exact moment to ID. Anyway, hey, we're in the midst of some particular weather here. Unfortunately, there's so many things that can go wrong. I was stitching combining the stacked images from several nights, and discovered that a couple of nights ago my camera got rotated a bit. Oh. Wasn't obvious when I was imaging, but boy, you put the two together, it really is. And so I've lost a couple of nights. Oh, I'm so bummed. And tonight, I would like to take the telescope out, but it's going to smoke. And that's the big thing now. Every year it's getting worse, smoke from all the wildfires. And usually July is about my best imaging month of the year, just the way it usually works out. But I don't know. We'll see. If the wind starts blowing it all to the east, that'll work out. But what happens is it kind of circles around and comes in from the west, too. So I don't know. Wonder what the future holds for, just a lot of people doing amateur astronomy around the country when we're having to deal with all this smoke. Anyway, Bernard, hope your success here has been better than mine here this past week. Back to you, KI7 PKL.
All right, Roy, appreciate your comments, appreciate you checking in. Yeah, hopefully. We've got tons of smoke out here, unfortunately, in the air. It's cleared up a little bit, but not all that much. It's still pretty hazy. We've got some pretty fair sunsets, pretty fair sunsets, for sure. because of the smoke, but it definitely detracts from observing. And we'll find out Monday night. Going to be doing occultation observation Monday night with the Recon group. So we'll see how that works out. But appreciate your comments. Appreciate you checking in tonight. The next two calls over on YouTube, KC8GW and Greg and Steve, KM6BAY. If you gentlemen have anything that you'd like to share with the net, you can post that over on YouTube. But I definitely appreciate you guys checking in tonight. All right, we are at the bottom of the list and well past the top of the hour. This is KIR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. I'll go and make one call only for anybody else. Questions, comments, late check-ins before I go ahead and wrap up the net for this evening. Please call KI0AR now.
This is Kilo Foxtrot 0, Uniform Papa Bravo, Mole in Salida.
Okay, good evening to you, Caleb. KF0UPB, thanks for checking in tonight. What have you got for us tonight? Go ahead.
Not a whole lot. Honestly, I was actually driving between Gunnison and Salida when the net started. But I did get a chance today to visit Black Canyon and Gunnison National Park for the first time, which apparently is an international dark sky site. I do wish I had had extra time to be able to set up my telescope or camera and do some astrophotography this evening, but I have to be back at work in Broomfield by 9:30 tomorrow, so it is a beautiful park. I'd recommend anybody that can get out there to visit it, does so. It's not that busy, especially now with peak heat. Smoke is not as bad as I thought it would be. I suppose it's wind dependent, but yeah, it seems like a cool place to take a telescope and get out there for some dark skies.
All right, Caleb, appreciate your comments, appreciate you checking in tonight. Thanks for sharing that as well. I'll have to mark that down as a spot to travel in and go out and take my telescope and activate the park as well for a polar station or something like that. I'll have to see. But definitely drive safe. Definitely drive safe. All right. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the net for this evening. I'd like to thank the 25 check-ins for checking in tonight. Hopefully we'll hear from everybody next Tuesday night for another session of the Colorado Astronomy Net. I'd like to thank the Rocky Mountain Radio League for the use of their repeater systems. Also like to thank the Skyhub Link group for the use of their systems as well. Skyhub.com for more information on how you can hook up into the Colorado Astronomy Net and several other nets as well that we host. For that, I will say 73 and keep looking up. This is KI0AR. I'm clear.